Hello, welcome to your practice. This practice is post-tennis stretches. So this yoga video is going to complement the video I did earlier, pre-tennis stretches. For my dear friend Denise, she is the one that suggested I do this. So I think this post-tennis stretches would be great after any kind of activity. It's going to really gear towards working these muscles of the upper back, low back, also a little bit in the thighs and the hips and the glutes. So we'll take these stretches a little bit slower. They're going to be a little bit more yin-like. So in yin poses, we hold them a little longer with breath to let all that connective tissue relax, to let everything, the joints start to soften after whatever activity we've been doing. So our first stretch is going to be on hands and knees. It's called thread the needle. So come onto your mat or to the floor. We're going to be in table pose, hands and knees, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We're going to take our right arm, inhale, and bring it out to the right. So a nice stretch all through that mid-back. And then we're going to exhale and take that right arm and thread it through the left side. We're going to bring the right shoulder, right side of the head down to the floor. Our right palm is up, facing up towards the ceiling. And then variations. We're going to hold here a little bit, but variations for the left arm. So it can stay right where it is with the left palm on the floor. Or you can tent the hand. So just bring your left fingertips into the floor. The palm lifts up and the left elbow will lift up. And we're going to press those left fingertips into the floor to get a little stretch in that left shoulder. You can also walk the left hand forward towards the top of the mat to get a different kind of stretch in that left shoulder. So find what's best for you. Another option is left arm can reach up towards the ceiling. Okay, another option is left hand can reach around the back. The left palm will face up towards the ceiling. So it kind of stretches out the front of this left shoulder. And we want to keep a little curve in the low back. So we don't want to round the low back. We want our hips kind of lifting up towards the ceiling. And just try those variations for the left hand, left arm. See what feels best for you as you breathe into the low belly. Good. Now to come out of it, left hand is going to come back by your head. The palm is into the floor. We're going to press that left palm into the floor to lift us back up into our hands and knees table. Okay, and we're going to take that to the other side. So wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale, lift the left arm out to the left. Lift, stretch, twist, breathe. On your next exhale, we're going to thread that left arm through the right side. So our left shoulder, left side of the head comes down. We've got that little curve in the low back, tailbone lifting up towards the ceiling. So we don't want to round through the low back. And then let's find the best position for this right hand. So what you did on the left hand, it might feel a little different on this side. So we can keep the right hand palm down into the floor. We can just press the fingertips into the floor and lift the palm and lift our right elbow up. So we feel that a little differently in the right shoulder. We can stretch our right arm up towards the top of the mat and reach through that right shoulder. So try these different variations. We can reach the right hand straight up, fingers spread, or we can bring that right hand back by the left hip, palm faces out, to open the front of the right chest and shoulder. So see what feels best on this side. Big breaths into the low belly. Let go of tension you're holding there. And then to come out of it, the right hand's going to come down by our head, palm flat. Press the hand into the floor. Lift yourself up into hands and knees, table pose. Good. Once we're here, just take a little freeform movement, kind of coming out of that stretch, that thread, the needle stretch. So our next stretch is going to be for the upper back and shoulders, and it's a shoulder release that we're going to do on our belly. So we're going to come all the way down onto our belly. Our arms are going to be out in a T position at shoulder height. Good. Now we're going to take the left hand and bring it by the left shoulder. The palm presses into the floor. And we're going to bend the left knee, so left toes up towards the ceiling. We're going to inhale, and we're going to start to lift that left knee up, and we're going to roll onto that right shoulder. We're going to hold here and breathe. Now, as you roll to your right, maybe this left foot, maybe it doesn't get all the way to the floor. Eventually it will if you keep working on this stretch. But it's a big stretch for that right shoulder, right side of the chest, right upper back. So a few big breaths here. Now this left hand can stay right here where it is, or maybe you bring it to your left thigh. Maybe you even let it kind of fall back behind you. The left palm is up towards the ceiling, so we can stretch this left shoulder as well. Big breaths. If it becomes too intense, bring this left hand to the floor and just bring this left knee a little lower. So you can kind of adjust that, dial it into how much stretch you want. To come out of it, we're going to bring that left knee, left thigh back down. We'll stretch the left arm out to the side, T position. Other side, right hand comes by the right shoulder, fingers spread. We're going to bend the right knee. We're going to press the right hand into the floor and roll onto that left hip. So lift the right knee, and maybe you're stuck here. Maybe that right foot doesn't touch the floor, but eventually maybe it will come to the floor. You hold here and breathe into that left shoulder, left chest, left upper back. The right hand can stay where it is, or maybe the right hand comes to the right thigh. Maybe it comes back behind you, right palm up towards the ceiling. So just see what feels best on this side. What we do on one side is not always what we need to do on the other side. We adjust. So that's what I love about yoga. So adjustable, modifiable. To come out of it, we're going to bring that right hand back to the floor, roll onto our belly and bring that right knee down. Slide the hands under the shoulders and lift yourself up into hands and knees table. Good. Take just a little free form movement in the upper back, lower back, shoulders, and chest after that shoulder release that we did. Good. Our next one is going to be fish pose or rack pose. So I'm going to show you both of them. We're going to swing the feet out in front of us. So we're sitting with our knees bent, feet on the floor. So for rack pose, we're going to keep the knees bent, keep the feet on the floor, and we're going to bring our hands back behind us. Maybe just the fingertips on the floor, maybe the palms on the floor. See what feels best. And we're going to kind of lift, arch the back away and lift the heart, lift the chest. So I'm pressing my sits bones down into the floor. You can look straight ahead or up a little bit, see what feels best for the neck. So this is rack pose, a variation of rack pose. This kind of bothers my elbows. They feel a little hyperextended. So I don't particularly like this one, but try it. See how it feels for you. You're squeezing those shoulder blades together and bringing that weight. You can even walk those hands back a little bit. So see where your just right spot is. And if it's not feeling so good to you, then we're going to come into fish pose, a modified fish pose. So you stretch the legs out, toes are up towards the ceiling. You're going to come down to your elbows. Palms are on the floor. Now walk those elbows in towards each other. Your elbows are kind of stacked under your shoulders. So we don't want the elbows too far towards the hips. We kind of pull them back and they'll be right about under our shoulders. They're in a little bit towards each other. Now we're going to keep those legs straight and start to press your sits bones into the floor. Start to arch the low back. So the low back arches away from the mat, the mid back arches away from the back. Then squeeze the shoulder blades together to arch that upper back away from the mat. So we keep those sits bones pressing into the floor to arch that lower back, and we keep squeezing shoulder blades together to work that upper back. So chest, shoulders, upper back. Good. Our legs are working because they're really engaged. They're long, the toes pressing up towards the ceiling. Now you can look straight ahead or up a little. See what feels best for the neck. We're going to hold here a couple breaths. So this is even great after bicycle riding because all that leaning forward and holding the handlebars. Big, slow breaths. Now to come out of it, we're going to lower the back down. So kind of relax that back down and then make your way up to seated. Lean back on the hands and just shake out the legs. Our final twist for our final pose for our post-tennis stretches is a spinal twist, a reclined spinal twist. So we're going to come down onto our back. So center yourself down on your mat. I'm going to take my little microphone out here because it gets a little tricky sometimes with static. All right. So we're down on our back. We're going to stretch our left leg out. We're going to bring our right knee in. The left hand's going to be on the right knee. Right arm is at your side. Both feet are flexed. Inhale. With your exhale, we're going to roll onto our left hip. So we bring that right knee across. Our right palm is up, and we want our right shoulder down on the ground. So you might lift up the upper back to adjust that right shoulder down, or bring your right knee just a little higher. Because we want both shoulders on the ground, chest facing the ceiling, and it's a twist from the waist down. Couple big breaths. We want to take that big breath into the belly. So this is good for the glutes, the thighs. It works that upper back. Now, a little variation I like to add, if it feels all right, bend your left knee and bring your left foot up as high as it will go. And then we're going to take that right hand and reach for the left toes. We want to keep that right shoulder still down on the ground. So if you reach for the right toes, or if you reach for the left toes, but your right shoulder lifts, then just keep that that right arm down by your side. So a couple big breaths. Breathe into the chest, breathe into the low belly. Feel this big stretch in this left quad, the knee that you just bent, and feel a nice deep stretch on this outer right hip and thigh and glute. So the bigger breaths you can take into the low belly, the better. If you want, let this right foot rest on the left thigh or left knee. So deep, slow breaths, relax, release, let go of any tension, tightness. Now to come out of it, if you bent the left knee, stretch that left leg out again. We're going to inhale, bring the right knee up, right foot to the floor, bend your left knee. We're going to adjust hips and shoulders so we're even on the mat. Right leg's going to stretch out. Exhale, left knee comes in. Right hand on left knee, left arm at your side, left palm up. Inhale, with your exhale, we're going to roll onto that right hip so that left knee comes across. Now, if your left shoulder lifted up off the floor, you want to pick up that upper body and roll that left shoulder back down, or just bring your left knee a little higher. So big breaths here into the low belly. Both shoulders down on the mat, chest looking up towards the ceiling. We're twisting from the waist down. Inhale, belly expands. Exhale, belly relaxes. If you want to go into that variation that we did on the other side, you're going to bend your right knee and bring your right foot as high as it'll go. And then the left hand can maybe find the right toes. If you reach for the right toes, but this left shoulder lifts, then just keep the left arm down. Big breaths. And maybe that left foot will rest on your right thigh. Sometimes when you get into twist, you're like, is it my left? Is it my right foot? Is it my left arm? Because we're all twisted. But it's good for the brain. So big breaths into the low belly. Keep relaxing into the twist. Where are you holding tension? Where or is there some tightness? Make a little adjustment or just breathe into it and try to let it go and let it release. To come out of it, if you've got those right toes, we're going to stretch that right leg back out. Inhale, left knee up. Bring left foot to the floor. We're going to bend the right knee. So both knees bent, feet on the floor. Good. Hug the knees into the chest and just roll side to side. This knees into the chest, rolling side to side is good for anything. It just works the shoulders, upper back, low back, hips. Good. Bring everything to center. Bring the feet down to the mat. And then roll over onto your side. Come up to sitting. So that is our post tennis stretches. I think those are great stretches for after any sport or after housework or yard work or any time you just need a really nice good stretch for the upper back and low back. So if you haven't seen the pre-tennis stretches, check that out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Share this with someone you think might like it and give it a thumbs up. So the more thumbs up I get, the more likes I get, the more shares I get, the higher up on the ranks YouTube will put me, and then they start recommending me to other people. So until next time, namaste.